It was something that I never even thought of, because it was just a small amount of money that was taken out of my paycheck every paycheck. Didn't even think about it. But I'm glad that I did it.
Detective Charles Kleinert shot Jackson after he tried to open the door of a bank that had just been robbed, and then fled on foot when Detective Kleinert questioned him.
So never thought that this would happen, but you never know. I never felt that I did anything that could have been considered criminal. So in the back of my head, I was always thinking, you know, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
We knew the officer had done what he had been trained to do, and had acted the correct way according to his training.
And that was the same time frame where Ferguson occurred.
And so what we're trying to do is make sure that this officer had spent his entire life defending others, protecting community, protecting families, protecting property, didn't get colored by an event of which he was in a horrible, violent fight to protect his life, and the gun went off accidentally.
We're going to make sure, first and foremost, that the rights they have are protected, and that we give them the best representation we can. And
so in this case, we made up our mind was that we push on and see it all the way through, that there's something greater at stake than just the case.
Travis County District Attorney's Office indicted me. The case was removed to federal court. The case was dismissed. The DA's office appealed the dismissal to the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit upheld Judge Yackel's opinion. The DA's office appealed it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court in January of 2018 decided that they would not hear the case. Once it got into the court system and the judges reviewed it and gave their opinions, their opinions were that I did nothing wrong.
It was a culmination of CLEAT, of what it believes, what it stands for, and it was an opportunity to fish or cut bait, to run and hide, or to stand beside the officer and go all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and that's what we did.
I never believed that CLEAT would just drop me because they decided that they didn't want to cover my costs anymore. I always believed that they were going to be there.
as long as our member has a desire to keep fighting going forward, we will be right there beside them.
CLEAT's whole premise is to protect the officer, protect their career, to protect their livelihood, to keep them from being accused of wrongdoing when they've done nothing wrong.
If he'd have had to fund that whole fight all the way to the Supreme Court just on his own, it would have financially ruined his family.
I would not have been able to keep my house.
And it wasn't just the $1 million that we spent in legal fees and our own lawyers and time and expertise and real cost. I think a lot of people expected us to fold. They expected us to at some point say, well, we've had enough, to kind of cry uncle. I think the stress was on Kleinert as an individual, the stress was on CLEAT, whether or not we were going to be able to withstand it, whether we're going to crater, whether we're going to buckle under the pressure, whether we're going to spend that much money on one case, whether we're going to be able to really hire the experts. Those decisions come only once a lifetime, and you have to be ready for it. You have to have the intestinal fortitude to believe in the mission and believe that it's greater than just one argument, one legal case, that you're looking at something that's about the general public's safety, about the officer's authority and jurisdiction, that all these things are going to set a precedent. From the time they take their hand and swear the oath to protect the Constitution and the citizens of their community, if something bad happens to you out there, and something's going to happen, to the time you retire, you can trust CLEAT, you can trust us to make good decisions for you, protect you and your family, no matter how tough it gets.